I'll be talking about CA release automation today. We've been using CA release automation for about a little over a year now. Some of the most valuable features of CA release automation are definitely the shared components as well as the tokens. So shared components within this application are repeatable processes that you can assign throughout multiple applications, such as like your business types, funding, credit, whatever else, that are repeatable processes. Like if you wanted to set up an IIS site or something along those lines, you would create a repeatable flow process with the application, and then you can leverage token values to fill in something like the service account, the passwords, that kind of stuff that would actually be populated as part of your IIS site deployment. It's pretty cool and a pretty awesome feature that we leverage all the time. In our pipeline right now, it's used as the release, so we use Jenkins to build our applications, and then it sends over to release automation. It's basically changed the way that we're doing our deployments. We now have, instead of 3-hour deployments, they're 3 minutes, as well as it creates more consistencies in the environments and helps it kind of determine if the issue is with the server, the code, whatever else, when you're actually deploying out. So it's been extremely helpful. Some of the things that we're using for compliance and governance is basically the auditing that we can use with the application, like who deployed it, when it was deployed, what versions were deployed from dev, QA, train stage, production. So it's been pretty helpful on that one. The solution itself is pretty stable as long as you're integrating it with enterprise solutions as well, using an enterprise database, because it's a pretty database intense product. So don't try to use some sort of MySQL. Use something that's real, as well as the repository for your artifacts using an enterprise nexus or enterprise artifactory instead of just the built-in products. It's pretty scalable because you could just have multiple execution servers run. So if you wanted to have more servers and agents deployed out than you currently have execution servers, you can add those on at any given time. So far, the technical support that we've had is pretty good. I usually get about an hour response time, especially if it's something that's escalated. The other week I got about 10 minutes after I submitted a request, a response time, and they opened a WebEx within an hour and we were discussing the issue. So it was surprisingly well compared to other technical groups that I've worked with before. The initial setup can kind of be open to more of the interpretation of the user. If you want to have it set up baseline, you just want to deploy out 1 or 2 types of products, that's pretty quick. It wouldn't take too much time. If you're trying to create it as a central enterprise solution for your company, then that's going to take a while. It took us about, I would say, 6 months or so, maybe closer to 8, to actually get our real foundation set before we can quickly onboard and really automate adding artifacts to CA release automation. Some current features that it's missing are the components that CA has put into their continuous delivery edition product, and it really probably should be a product that's kind of combined with this instead of being a separate product. I would say that that's kind of one of the issues that I currently see with it. I know that they put it in there as separate products, but long term it should really probably be combined. We really were just trying to find ways to be more efficient in our code delivery. We had a lot of outages surrounding releases going wrong, and part of that is also code not being built automated, versions not being the same from QA to production, just a lot of those little things that built up over time. And we also expanded as a company, so we finally have started looking at everything that we can fix, and this is one of the places that we started with. When we work with vendors, I would say just being able to actually be listened to whenever we have issues, actually getting responses from the companies. I find that CA actually will respond. They might not have everything out of the box that we want, but they'll listen and they'll actually update their code and add more plugins. One thing that they have actually updated, we requested TIBCO version 6 for BW deployments to be added as a plugin, and they're in progress of actually adding that to their new release on the roadmap. I would rate the solution about an 8. To be fair, I think that there's a lot of things that it is capable of. Deploying out, integrating with other products, the UI and the design can sometimes be a little flaky, and that is a little frustrating at different points. But overall, it's definitely a solution if you're looking for an enterprise product to do your releases for multiple types of deployments.